This is a tutorial for the gravitational field simulation. When we load it in, it's actually in a mode called binary 1, and this is just showing I guess, a binary star system. And if you find the field obtrusive, you can actually just click on field and it removes that. But I kind of like the arrows. It kind of shows the relative strength and the dependence on 1 over r squared. You'll notice something below here. The orbits are unstable and require periodic resets. I have to set all the initial conditions, and so the orbits are not perfect. So after a while, they're going to kind of get too close and fling off each other, and you can just hit reset to get them back to normal. If you hit trails, it will actually draw trails for them, which will be more clear if I deselect the field. This is more interesting in other modes, which I'll show you later. Gravity, you can change, maybe we'll put field back on. I can make gravity all of a sudden stronger. This basically yeah, that happens, and then you can hit reset. If you hit reset while the gravity is strong, they will orbit just fine. But if you change the gravity while they're orbiting, it's gonna mess up their orbits. The other option, maybe we'll go back to, I don't know what it started on 2. If you click on one of them, oh yeah, you can also click and drag them. Of course, that will mess up the orbit. But if you click on one object, you can increase its mass and see how that affects the orbiting of the other objects. So going into the mode here, the first actual mode, it loads into binary star 1, but the first mode in the drop-down window is just kind of a gravity mode or magnitude of the force mode where they don't move. And in this one, you can just play around with the relative strength of gravity. Well, I guess that doesn't change much. Right, it won't change the way the field looks. But if you change the mass, you can change the local. If I can select this one, you can see it's purple, and I can change the mass of that one to make it larger. So that's kind of the basic mode, and you can just drag them around. The next mode is Moon, and what this is, I'll get rid of field. What this is I actually put the Earth with a geostationary satellite and the Moon at their actual scale distances. And approximately scale sizes, just so kids could actually have an idea of how big the Moon is and how far away it is. This, again, will not be stable. And you can see that even the geostationary satellite is quite elliptical. And you can see the Moon is quite elliptical as well. This is limited to the initial conditions that I tried to put in. I was just trying to show a scale diagram. So that's Moon mode. Get rid of trails. Geostationary satellite. This is a little cooler because it zooms in a little bit. And my idea here was that the kids could see that the International Space Station is really a low Earth satellite, really just skimming the surface. Whereas a geostationary satellite is a high altitude satellite and it's quite far away. And also, I adjusted the rotation speed of this little PNG of the Earth so you can see that the geostationary satellite is actually above the same point at all times. Again, it's not very stable, though. Cloud, this is a kind of a multi-body gravitational attraction problem where you can just kind of let it go. And if you're lucky, by the end of it, you might have 1 or 2 little circles orbiting the big circle. It doesn't always happen, but it's quite fun. And you can just let that go. And we'll see what happens. You can add trails too. The trails are kind of fun to look at in this mode. And I won't let this go forever, but you get the idea. You can let it go until you see what happens. If you want to start again, you just hit reset. And we can hit the trails again. Or if you want to change the number of bodies in there, you can make it less depending on whether your computer can handle it. But I guess 300, my computer seems to be fine with 300. But I think when I made this, if you go up to like 500, 600, it starts to crash, or it starts to get really, really sluggish. So that's cloud mode. Going down galaxy mode, what I did here was I just put a big heavy thing in the middle and made it not move, and then I had a whole bunch of other stars that are randomly generated just orbit it with correct tangential velocities based on how far away they are. And sometimes you can see some of them getting flung out of the inner part of the galaxy, if you like, or maybe this could be a solar system simulator. And if you hit trails, sometimes you can get 2 of them kind of orbiting each other, and they get caught in their mutual. You can see these 2 flying out, which is kind of neat. And if you reset it and add the trails, you usually see some of them getting flung out of the inner part of the solar system. Maybe one over there. Once the trails have been going for a while, it does get sluggish, so you can remove the trails and put them back on, and they'll start from scratch. That's galaxy mode. Going down, comet mode, I just wanted to show a highly elliptical orbit. Again, not stable, but you can add the trail in. You get quite a good ellipse. You can also add the field in, and you can see that the comet only has very, very local impacts on the gravitational field. I threw in a Kepler's second law part here, the equal areas and equal times, and you can just take a look at those areas, and sometimes it draws them overlapping until it resets them, but it will reset them fairly soon. There you go. So that's comet mode and Kepler's second law mode. Going on, this is one binary star system. This is the original mode that it starts on. Here they're equal mass, and I tried to make them orbiting a mutual center of gravity at equal distances. In binary mode 2, I made a heavier one make a small circle around the center of gravity, and a smaller one make a larger circle. That's binary mode 2. And then finally, in solar system, again, I just gave them the correct masses and put them at the correct distances away, so you can see the relative orbits. Again, it's not stable, and I have actually a very stable version of this in a solar system simulation in my grade 9 and 10 version if you just want to show circular orbits. What I did add, though, is I added a geocentric mode, which, I guess it won't let me deselect the trails. That might be a bug. I'll fix that. But if you add the geocentric mode, it focuses, it centers everything actually around the Earth, and then you can see the epicycles of all of the other planets, except for the Sun. I guess I should explain what planets you're looking at here. The yellow is the Sun. I guess blue is Earth and red is Mars, and then it's Jupiter and Saturn, I think, are what these planets are. So that's another option to see the epicycles. Again, I do have this actually better in another solar system simulation. So that's the gravity simulator. I hope you find it useful.